Hello guys, I'm Jay and welcome back here to my channel Stuff by Jay. Today I thought of telling you guys, those of you who might be interested in getting into a biology degree, 5 things I think every potential biologist should know before taking the course, before getting into college and taking the degree. When I first started, around 5 years ago, I noticed that there were some things that most people didn't know about when entering the course, okay, when trying to graduate from biology school. And also there were several things that people didn't tell you what they were until you got in, okay. And those things make it a little bit more difficult, or even can get you very demotivated while you're taking the degree, because you weren't ready for them. So I decided to help you guys out and I'm trying to tell you the 5 things that I consider to be most important to think about and to know before joining in the biology school, okay? So the first thing I think everyone should do before signing in is to do some voluntary work, okay? And I'll explain you why. In the biology world, you have 2 types of biologists, okay? You have the lab coats and you have the boots, okay? Lab coats guys, lab coat biologists, they work in laboratories, okay? They work with microorganisms, they might work with plants, geneticists, all of that. They are called lab coats, the biologists, because they work with a lab coat on a laboratory. Then you have the boots biologists, which are the biologists who are in the field, okay? They work in the field. You sample animals, you see animals, you photograph animals, you measure animals, but you also have these field biologists also have tons of desk work, okay? They do several types of analysis on a desk. And the thing is, most of us, when we are trying to join in a biology degree or taking a biology degree, we are thinking about National Geographic stuff, right? You think that you go to the Amazon, film a couple of frogs and sloth, and you're good to go. But that's not it. I've met several people who entered the biology degree hoping to become, for example, a field biologist, hoping to become one day a conservation biologist and going out and collecting data on animals. And while taking the degree, they realized they didn't like it. They weren't cut out for it. They didn't like to stand outside in the rain. They were too cold, too hot, and they didn't like the laboratory work either, so they had to leave the degree, and it was 1 year or 2 years that they wasted on it. And so this is my advice for you guys. If you are thinking about joining or taking a biology degrees, before you joining in, during your summer vacations, because everyone has summer vacation that takes about 2 months, right? You don't ever have all the days filled out during the summer vacation, right? You don't have 2 months of stuff to deal with during summer vacation. So my advice is try to find a professor in a college or even in a project near you, and ask them if they would be able to accept you as a voluntary, to assist them and to watch them work in order to learn. Then you'll see that you might actually learn one thing or two. One of the things that you might learn is, okay, I want to be a laboratory biologist. Then you do the voluntary work and you actually realize, yes, I love this work. This is exactly what I want to be. Or you do the work, you do the voluntary work, and in the end you realize that that's not exactly what you wanted. You wanted more action. You wanted something a little bit more different. And if you learn this when you go in to the degree, when you go into the course, you actually are more prepared for what's to come, because you know what you want. When choosing classes and specialization, you already know what you want. This is my first advice to you all. Do voluntary work before joining in. It doesn't have to be a lot. A couple weeks, maybe a month of voluntary work is enough for you to understand. The second thing I want you guys to know, and this is a very important one, okay? There's a lot of mathematics and statistics in biology, okay? And it's not like a bullshit course. It's very important. So if you're joining in, if you're trying to get into a biology degree, taking a biology degree because you think it's easy and because you hate math and you want something without math, you're wrong, okay? There's tons of math, there's tons of statistics, and they are super important. There's nothing you can do in biology without statistics. If you try to, imagine that you are trying to find out why tigers have stripes on their bodies. You need statistics. You are going to collect data on the tigers, you're going to compare data, and statistics is the one that tells you if your hypotheses are true or not. So if you join in biology degree, first know you will have to know math and you will have to know statistics. There's a silver lining to this. Most statistics is made by a computer. So what you will actually learn is how to use a computer to calculate your statistics, okay? So you won't have to calculate it by hand or using a calculator, you just have to know the programs, the code, okay, in order to achieve that. But you have to know, the number one discipline, the number one course, okay, the number one subject that people fail in biology is mathematics, and they all hate it. While taking the degree, they all hate it. But after they took the degree, okay, after they graduated and they started working, all of them valued the subject because they use it every day. So if you are getting into, don't be one of those guys that calls that mathematics subject, that mathematics course is bullshit, that statistics is bullshit, because you are going to use it. So get ready to work with numbers, okay? This is my second advice. My third advice is do not work to pass, work to be the best. And I'm gonna tell you why. In biology is a very, very competitive world. Why? There's very little funding in most countries towards the environmental area, okay? So when you are working as a biologist, you are competing against other biologists to get that money, to get that financial support towards your project. And the way people look at it is, when you have worked for several years, what they look at it is how many of those projects you have completed its success. But when you are finishing college, okay, you don't have any projects, you don't have any success, and the only thing they look at is your grades. And I'm telling you, it's a very competitive world. So if you don't have good grades, they won't care. Oh, I do voluntary work in here, in there, I work in a conservation center, I work in an animal protection center. They don't care. Why? Because everyone that is in your degree with you has also done voluntary work. There's no one that finishes the degree without doing voluntary work. So the thing that tells you apart from the others is your grades. Now, I'm not telling you to have only A's or A pluses. I'm doing to work. Now, biology is a very easy degree. I'm not kidding. I know I said it has statistics and mathematics, but it's easy. If you show up to class, if you pay attention, and then if you put 1 hour study every weekend or every other weekend, and you study for the exams, with very little study, you can have good grades because it's easy to understand, okay? So what I'm telling is, I know everyone, when everyone joins college, what they want is to party, okay? And you can party. You can party. I partied when I was in college, but I also did the work, and that helped me out a lot because I had good grades. I was in the front whenever there was a decision to be made. Oh, we have classes, we only have 20 openings. Because my good grades, because I had good grades, I was always in the front of those choices, okay, of those lists, and it's very important to do. I can't tell you in the final year of my graduation how many times I heard other students say to the teachers, oh, how can people value me? I have bad grades, but I know a lot, I do voluntary work. And the teacher said, and the teachers always says, there's no way. How can I know that you know a lot? If you have bad grades, I can't know if you know a lot. So there are some classes and there are some degrees where passing is merit by itself, right? I'm talking, for example, engineering. I know there are some classes in engineering that you're passing, even if you pass with the minimal grade that you need, it's a merit because they are very difficult. In biology, that's not it. You have to have good grades. It's very valued, okay? So if you are entering biology, just keep that in mind. Don't only party, okay? You cannot learn if you only party, and you won't be able to work in the area, okay, in biology, if you have bad grades. Work, okay? It's important. Fourth, there's not much money to be made in biology. I think this is a very important thing to know. The way you get merit in biology is by publications, right? Papers. Everyone has heard about papers and publications and studies. And the way it works is you do a project, okay? You collect data, you analyze the data, and you write a paper, an article for a magazine about that subject. And you send it to the magazine, and the magazine publishes it. It doesn't pay you anything, okay? Every paper you see published has been published for free. The scientists behind it, the authors, have not been paid. Why? Because as a magazine sees it, it's doing you a favor by giving you exposure, okay? And what does this mean? This means that there's not that much money to be made in biology, okay? You make the money that the grant or the project that you are in has to available for you and nothing else. Worse than that, when you are reading a free paper on one of those open source sites, the people who publish that paper has actually paid towards that site to publish those papers. Around $1,000 to maybe $2,000 are paid to publish a paper in a free website, in those open access. Okay. I also knew many people who joined the biology degree, who wanted to take the biology degree, thinking that they would be paid by the paper. Every paper they publish, they would be paid. That's not how it works, okay? And so this is my first advice, my first information, I don't know how to call it. Don't expect to be paid a lot. There's very little money to be made. Which brings me to the fifth and final advice to you. Don't only go into biology if you love it. That's maybe if I could only give you one advice, this would be it. Don't go looking for fame. Don't go looking for money. Don't go looking for an easy way to finish a degree. Go for love. Okay, and it's very important. Being a biologist is very hard work. If you are a field biologist, you have to go out in the rain, in the sun, in the wind, when it's snowing, when it's ice falling from the sky. You have to go out and find the animals and study. Okay, then you have to look up thousands and thousands of data, of megabytes, of gigabytes, of terabytes of data, and you have to analyze them and understand the statistics and be able to write and publish. If you work in a laboratory, you spend hours closed in a room with white lights, looking through a microscope until your eyes hurt. It's very hard work, okay? But it's all made up by the fact that you love it. I love biology. I wanted to be a biologist because I love nature, and I wanted to be able to look at the field and understand what I was looking at. And I've been out in the rain, I've been out in the sun with 40 degrees Celsius outside, and let me tell you, never ever have I second questioned my choice, because I love it. And I've met so many people that while taking the degree have given up and have changed degrees because they entered thinking they would make money, and they realized they wouldn't make money, so they changed to a degree with more money in it. They entered because they thought they could be famous. They made that discovery that made them famous, and they realized that was very hard, and they changed the degree. I met so many people who joined the degree only to party and drink and have fun, and in the end they didn't finish the degree because they couldn't, and they had to change. So please, this is if you're thinking about taking a biology degree, do it if you love it. That's the main reason to take a biology degree, and it's a very important one. And believe me, even if you can't do voluntary work, even if you can't work that much to have good grades, even if you need the money, believe me, if you enter biology and you do it because you love it, nothing matters. You will be able to finish the degree, people will know you, and people will hire you because they know that guy loves what he does. He will not complain, he will do it because he loves it. And that's my biggest advice to you. Okay, so this has been 5 things you should know before joining a biology degree. I hope I could help some of you making the decision. This is only 5 of them. I know there's more. If you like, be sure to leave a like on the video, and subscribe for more biology and nature related content. If you have any doubts, you can write them in the comments, or you can join in a stream of mine and ask the questions in the chat. I stream every Monday and Friday on Twitch. My channel is down below, and you can join in and ask your questions and I'll answer it live. And so this has been the video. I hope you guys like it. I hope to see you again. So bye.